Hey everybody, welcome to today's service. I'll give folks a moment or two to float in here, and I'll just finish setting up and then we'll begin. We need our lighter. Okay, let me pull up the chat over here. There we are. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. Today this service is being recorded, so if you're not being able to tune in live, that's fine. Or if you come in late, you'll be able to check back later and see whatever parts you may have missed. But for those of you here right now, thank you so much for being with me. I'm so glad to be able to do a service like this with everybody. I think access to communal grieving is not as it should be for everyone. It should be so easily accessible for everyone, and I think a lot of people go without it, and a lot of folks who are separated from community, especially in the pandemic that has been the last 2 years, need that kind of space, and including myself. I feel like a lot of loss and not the time to really sit and be with my grief in a safe space with other people that I'm creating. So that is what led to the inspiration of making this kind of a resource that I am sharing or creating with you guys, with you all. Thank you for the participation beforehand from other folks. I appreciate all the coming together with this service. Today we will start in a few minutes. I'll just run over what we'll do today. Everything we do is opt-in, opt-out, meaning you can join in, you can sit back, you can follow along in the activities or just observe. Really, truly, whatever feels good to you. I want you to invite yourself to just show up as you are today, kind of whatever you're feeling, whatever arises and falls away, whatever doesn't arise, just let it kind of flow today. See what we can just breathe through together and see what kind of release or connection, whatever comes up. Let's just observe and try to be with it today. We will start with an incense offering. If you'd like to light a candle or offer incense, you can do that at the same time as me. I will do kind of a enso, that's like the circular calligraphy with the incense and ring the bell. And then I will do one bell for all of the ancestors, specifically that today I have made ancestor cards for. I hope you can see that. But they, even if you did not submit a name, or if you are watching this later, this is for any ancestor of all of us, right? Which is anybody who has existed or will exist, right? We're all kind of leaning into our interconnectedness today as we really bring in mind a specific person or just bring in mind our grief as a whole and try to move through those processes with each other. So I will offer incense to the altar. We also have, I don't think I'm going to lift that one up. I think I might drop something. But there's some fruits and incense, flowers, food, some, earth, volcanic rocks, and wood, a candle. Various elements over there that I've kind of prepared for everybody in hopes to just really comfort ourselves and those past. I think this service is for both us and everyone, It's for cultivating our own ease and then trying to direct that ease towards those we love or those we might be missing. So we'll start with that. We'll move into, after that, I will ring the bell. We will move into some breath work, just a few breathing exercises to ground ourselves, to tend to our own bodies, to give ourselves a little love, care, holding. And then we will chant together. I will share my screen, so the chants will be up there. They will also be, I'll put the link in the chat here. If you are watching this later, there will be a link there already for you. But if you are joining me right now, there we go. Sorry, I had to copy and paste it again. All the chants are also in here and any other information that you might need for the service today. But you won't need to look at that because we will have it shared on the screen as well. So, after we chant, I will ring the bells again. The first bells were kind of ringing our ancestors into this space, bringing them into our kind of intention, our heart, our breath. And after we dive into breath work, get some dynamism into our breath with chanting, or take some time to reflect during that chanting period, then we will hear the bells one more time. It'll be 16 rings, and then I will do a short reading, and we'll say goodbye to each other. I really hope this service brings about maybe whatever you might need today, whatever you might be looking for. I hope you're able to cultivate that and feel it in your body. Okay. We will start with an incense offering. If you would like to follow along, offer some incense after I ring the bell, or light a candle after I ring the bell, and then do some nice settled breathing, get into a nice comfortable position. You might grab some water at any point to have it nearby for yourself, if that feels good as well. 3 formal bows towards the altar and the incense that's being offered. If you offered incense or lit a candle, you might bow to it with your hands in gassho. You don't need to do the full prostration. Okay. Take a second to get comfortable. We're going to move into some breath work. You might take a few sips of water, find a comfortable seated or laying down position. And however you're feeling right now, try and be with it as fully as possible. Maybe holding your loved one in mind, holding multiple loved ones in mind, holding yourself in mind. As we breathe together today, even though we can't see each other, and though we may not all be tuning in at the same time, as we really breathe with everyone breathing right now, we can bring into the room all that we miss. We can recognize the parts of us that are forever people who are not here right now. The parts of us that have been changed, made new, molded, grown. We can let all of that fill the room today, knowing we have our community to hold us through it all. Okay, we're going to move into a little breath work. Tuck my foot in here. You might be smelling some nice scents if you lit some incense or a candle, or you might just be settling into your spot, settling into your posture, your laying down position, wrapping yourself in a blanket, maybe even getting nice and warm. And we'll try to relax a little, tapping into the breath. So we'll start by simply breathing in through the nose and sighing out, making a sound as you exhale. We'll do a few rounds of this, and I'll give verbal instructions. We'll move into 2 different breathing exercises, kind of interchangeably. You can jump in and out at any point, take care of yourself, take care of your body, listen to yourself. But if it feels good to participate, there'll be a gentle guide, and I will give instructions throughout. After we are sighing, we'll move into a breath where we place our hands on our chest, or our belly, or perhaps even our laps. Wherever we place our hands, just feeling ourselves, being able to hold ourselves, even just having that feeling of your upper arms touch yourself, or your legs wrapped against each other. Any body part against any body part, really. But I'll be using my hands against my chest for the demonstration. And then we'll go into just some simple bell breaths before chanting. All right, we'll start with a clearing breath. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it all out through the mouth. Inhale. Sigh out. Inhale. Sigh out. In. Out. In. Out. Let your breathing return to normal. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Let your jaw unclench. Your lower back release. Glutes, thighs, release. And as you take a moment to breathe in and out, knowing we have space for whatever we might intake, and after intake, there will be release. We transition into a little grounding exercise by moving the hands to the chest, stomach, thighs. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose and slowly hum out. In through the nose and hum out. In through the nose and hum out. Continue breathing that way as I talk. In through the nose and humming out. Notice what it feels like to hold yourself. To feel the gentle vibrations start to build in your chest, belly. And simply let your breath flow in and out. As you breathe in, let yourself be full, taking up space, breathing in everything around you. And as you hum out, simply release. Let your breathing slowly return to normal, letting the hands drop, relaxed. We'll do one final breathing exercise with the bell before moving into chanting. This time we'll be taking a breath in and breathing out with the bell. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. In. In. Last deep breath in. Take a moment to stretch. Take a sip of water if you need to. Hopefully we've cultivated a little breath at this point. We've practiced breathing with our ancestors, with our grief. And as we move forward, we move through together. We will do some chanting. This can be a nice time to chant along with me. I will share this on my screen so you have the chants that I will be doing. Or if you prefer to just listen, you might take a moment to stretch, tend to your body, maybe massage your neck or shoulders, legs. If you're feeling a lot of emotions rise up, give yourself a chance to sit with them, tend to them, journal if that feels good to you. But we will be doing 4 chants together, and these chants are for us and for those who have passed. The chants we've picked today are picked for their content or mantra qualities, and really for the healing of ourselves and of our past loved ones. The kind of joint communal healing that we are doing is able to be kind of redirected and spread out through our kind of interdependence. So we will do some chanting together. I'll take a moment to get that set up and then we'll begin. Okay. We will begin with the Heart Sutra. Feel free to follow along or listen along. As I said before, we'll do this chant and a few others. If this is your first time chanting, I still encourage you to follow along. Some tips would be to breathe whenever you feel like breathing. You might hear me breathe in between syllables, or if I'm going a little faster, I might skip a whole syllable as a quick in-breath. Usually, when we do this in a group, people breathe at different times, so it's not something so hard to do. You can take rest and the community kind of holds you up. So with that spirit in mind, we will chant together. The Heart Sutra. Makahanya Aramita Shingyo Kanji Daiwo Sagyo Jin Hanya Aramita Jishogen Gon Gaigudo Issai Yakusha Rishi Shigi Fu Ikuku Fu Ishigi Shigi Sokuze Kuku Sokuze Shigi Juso Yoshigi Yakubu Nyoze Shari Shize Shoku Sofu Shofu Metsufu Kufu Yofu Zo 不遠税国中無思議無重創業思議無限に微絶心に無思議証拠未速法無限外内し無意識界無無明薬無無明人内し無老死薬無老死人無苦終滅道無知薬無道意無所特攻防大サッタエハンニャーラミタコシン無ゲゲ無ゲゲコ無苦不音理一切天道無足行ね半三世小仏へ般若らミタコ徳あのくたら三脈三宝大高知般若らミタ世大神修世大名修世無常修世無東道修農場一切不真実不法公説般若あらみた収束説収圧やてやてあらやてあらそうやでおじそわかはんやじんよ。I'll chant a dedication of merit for us. 一花三世一世福子孫無差無差おごじゃおろみThe next sutra we will be doing is Shosaishu, the crisis averting dharani. We will repeat this 3 times. As we do this, pick up in speed just a little bit each time, but I will try to go at a moderately accessible pace. Shosaishu. ナムサマンナモトナンノハラジゴトシャソノンナンドジトエンヤヤヤギヤギウンヌンシフラシフラハラシフラハラシフラチシュサチシュサシュシェリシュシェリソアジャセチヤシェリソモコナムサマンダモトナンオハラジコトシャソノンナンドジトエンヤヤヤギヤギユンヌンシフラシフラハラシフララシフラチシュサチシュサシュシェリソアジャセチギャイエソモコナムサマンダモトナンノハラチコトシャソソナンドジトエンギャギャギャギヤギウンヌンシフラシフララシフラハラシフラチシュサシュリシェリシュシェリソアジャシギャシリエソモコThe next chant we will do is Shigu Seganmon. Sorry. This one, there's an invitation to have your hands in gasho, palms together at the heart. You may do that or you may not, whatever feels comfortable to you. 終了無縁時間老母の無人世間断訪問無料世間学仏道無料世間領修了無縁世間のの無人世間断訪問無料世間学仏道無料世間領修了無縁世間の無人世間断訪問無料世間学仏道無料世間領 That was Shibu Seigan. This is the 4 great vows for all. And lastly, we will do ENMEI JUKKU KANNON, which is the 10-phrase life-prolonging Kannon Sutra, a sutra dedicated towards and for cultivating the qualities of unfolding compassion, dedicated towards a wisdom being or bodhisattva named Kannon, or Avalokiteshvara, Guanyin, depending on what language you know their name in. But this is a very good chant for kind of cultivating that kind of fortifying spirit, that unfolding compassion and wisdom. So, you may join me in Gasho again if you would like. ENMEI JUKKU KANNON 한세엄 나무부츠 요부츠 인요부츠 엔북보소 엔요라그가 조초는 감세엄보는 감세엄 넨넨 주신기 넨넨 부리신 감세엄 나무부츠 요부츠 인요부츠 엔북보소 엔요라그가 조초는 감세 본넨 감세엄 넨넨 주신기 넨넨 부리신 감세엄 나무부츠 요부츠 인요부츠 엔북보소 엔라쿠가 조초넨 감세엄 본넨 감세엄 넨넨 주신기 넨넨 부리신. We'll ring the ancestor bell once more. Thank you so much for sitting with me today, for bringing yourself into this space and allowing me to bring myself into this space. Give myself a second to feel, get in my body. I want to, please feel free to stretch, take some water if you need to, do what you need to take care of yourself. And I wanted to end today by sharing a piece of writing with you, something I wrote that I've shared already before, but has really been important for me in my grief and my grieving processes this past 2-3 months. Really, in reflecting on the experience of writing this piece that I'll share, I find myself diving deeper into understanding what I mean when I say community, what I mean when I say I want to heal communally, I want to get free with everybody, what I mean when I experience breath work and deep practice. I think all of those expressions kind of have rooted themselves in this piece for me, and so that is what I would like to share as my kind of ending kind of meditation on grief. And then I'll have a little end card, and we'll say goodbye to each other for the night. This is, there's a link in the kind of docket, the link that I put in the chat, to where this is, and there's the text version of this as well. If just listening is hard for you, you can read along as well. But otherwise, I just invite you to listen. This is from Even the Score, Homie House Press's anti-nationalism issue of their in-house newspaper, which is a zine, and I wrote a piece called Will You Get Free With Me? And I'd like to read that for you all today. Will You Get Free With Me? A meditation on anti-nationalism, a love letter to radical community, a record of abolitionist lineage transmission. I want to be free, and I can't get there without you. I need you by my side for this, breathing the entire universe in and out with me. How else could we hold it all? If not one of us may arrive alone, then we must carry each other across the threshold in loving arms. I am sitting in a cemetery filled with settler bodies on unceded Potawatomi, Odawa, and Ojibwe land. It is a sub-freezing February day, and the ground is glistening white. I am facing my fear of ancestral ghosts as my boots break trail in the snow. Before me, there is a gravestone bearing my last name, belonging to a stranger. Across the country, my auntie is rushed to the ICU with emphysema and pneumonia. My sensei's father passes after holding on much longer than expected. A few states over, 2 more fathers of close friends pass. None of them came from this land, and very few of them chose to be here. And yet we are all born and die on this land. It holds the nakedness of our flesh without shame always, reflecting in our foot and handprints its gentle bearing of our weight. When I breathe in, I am flooded with the grief of everything at once. Did they know peace before they died, even with the burdens of generational trauma and the constant fight for embodiment and connection under colonialism, capitalism, white supremacy? Did they find their out, their reason, some joy in the hope of a way to getting closer to burning it all down? Will they be rewarded in life beyond with the fruits of abolition? Will they know true homeland? I am sitting with suffocation in my, our displacement and grief, the violence of nation. Can't you feel the heat of my exhale join yours? For me, please take a moment to sense it. I want to live, to be free. Everything is at stake, exactly right now. Imagine sitting back to back in the sun together. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and slowly let it out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your jaw unclench. Feel your lungs expand in all directions as you inhale. And as you exhale, sigh out completely, letting a little sound resonate deep into your belly, your knees, your toes, the earth. What border could be drawn between us when we breathe this way? When our bellies hang completely relaxed and our skin, sun-warmed, sweats salt into the atmosphere and earth. Without indigenous land, my body becomes the territory. I till the soil of connection with my community. I tend to it with expansive queerness. This is the trans-divinational experience, releasing into the divinity of continual transformation and refusing to use false borders. This, too, is where I meet you, in the unlimited capacity we have to heal, to transform, to birth care, in the parts of you that have already become a part of me. Do you feel me with you in those pauses in between inhale and exhale? At the top of breath, when my belly, lungs, and back are filled, there is a moment to dwell in before the exhale. I do not search for homeland, because it has filled my whole being. Each of my ancestors is with me as I expand. Again, we meet. Face I have not yet held. Forehead I have not yet held to mine. Ancestor who has not yet become. When I am full of everything in the entire world, and it is full of all of us, before the breath starts to leak from my belly, nose, and throat, I kneel exactly before you. Will you get free with me? I know the path is long and weary. We are so tired, and so much violence has been carved into the land, our hearts. But I am here before you, and my hands are outstretched. Place your hands in mine and feel my breath. Don't you hear how loudly our hearts beat together? At the end of my meditation, I bow, chant, and stand before the gravestone. My outbreath becomes vows. With such conviction, it brings tears to my eyes. Inhale. I vow to be here. Inhale. I vow to be present. Inhale. I vow to return. My breath is entirely ours. May we always return to the moment. May we set each other free. Thank you. you so much for listening to that. That is my sharing for today. I hope you have enjoyed this service. I hope it has served you in some way, brought you some breath, some spaciousness, some ease, whatever you might need or want today. I really appreciate the opportunity to share different practices, different healing work, different grief work that I do with folks, and having the opportunity to do so um, is more than I could have ever dreamed. I will take the ancestor cards, which have the names of all the loved ones on the back of the calligraphy, and do a little closing ceremony after this, after I end the live stream. But just to close out, I have one last slide for us today. Here we go. Just a thank you card. Thank you so much for joining me today, for bringing yourselves, for submitting names, for contributing. I really appreciate all of this, and I cannot wait to dive deeper into working with everybody as the pandemic ends too. I do right now on a very limited scale some body work with people for grief, and so hopefully as we get through this next subvariant, maybe things will get better and I can expand. But this is just my thank you card. Thank you for being here today, for giving me your energy, your light, and I hope to really be able to work more in this kind of space with everybody. This communal healing is really what I want to fill my life with and put out into the world. So thank you for making that possible for me. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it so much. And just in case, I'm not sure if I'm shown when I share screen, so I bowed during that. I'll bow one more time. Thank you so much for joining me today.